Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the starship New Horizons and looked out at the vast emptiness of space. The year was 2387 and humanity had finally made contact with another intelligent species. The Kalari were peaceful beings who lived on a distant planet called Veth Prime. They had amazing technology that could heal diseases and grow buildings from living matter. Now both species wanted to learn from each other. Jake had been chosen to run the first interspecies partnership program. The idea was simple but important. A human and a Kalari would work together for 6 months. They would share knowledge and try to understand each other better. The program could change the future for both races. Dr. Lisa Chun walked into the bridge carrying her research files. She was a scientist who studied alien life forms. Lisa had volunteered for the partnership program even though many people thought it was dangerous. She was 32 years old with black hair and smart brown eyes. Lisa believed that working with aliens could help humanity learn amazing new things. "Are you ready for this, Lisa?" Jake asked her. He was worried about the risks, but also excited about what they might discover. Lisa nodded and smiled. "I have been preparing for months, Captain. This could be the most important work I ever do." Dr. Ben Parker entered the room looking concerned. He was Lisa's friend and colleague who worked in the same lab. Ben thought the partnership program was too risky. "Lisa, you should think about this more carefully. We do not know how alien minds work. What if something goes wrong?" "Nothing will go wrong, Ben," Lisa replied. "The Kalari have been peaceful in every contact we have made. They want to learn just like we do." The ship's computer made a soft sound to announce an incoming message. "Captain Morrison, the Kalari transport ship is approaching," the computer said in its calm voice. Jake felt his heart beat faster. This was the moment they had all been waiting for. "Put it on the main screen," he ordered. The large screen showed a beautiful ship that looked like it was made from living coral. It glowed with soft blue and green lights that pulsed like a heartbeat. The Kalari ship was completely different from human ships, which were made of metal and straight lines. "They are requesting permission to dock, Captain," reported Navigation Officer Chris Martinez from his station. "Permission granted," Jake said. He turned to Lisa. "Are you ready to meet your partner?" Lisa took a deep breath. "I am ready." 20 minutes. Later, they all gathered in the main docking bay. The Kalari transport had attached itself to their ship like two puzzle pieces fitting together. Jake stood with Lisa, Ben, and several other crew members. Everyone was quiet and nervous. The airlock door opened with a soft hiss. 3 Kalari beings walked through the opening. They moved gracefully like they were floating on water. Their skin was pale blue and seemed to glow from inside. Each Kalari had 4 arms instead of 2, and their faces were longer than human faces, with large eyes that sparkled like stars. The first Kalari stepped forward and spoke in a voice that sounded like music. "Greetings, humans. I am Zereth, but you may call me Zara, as we understand human names can be difficult." Zara was the most beautiful being Lisa had ever seen. Her skin had patches that glowed brighter when she spoke. Her 4 arms moved in elegant patterns as she talked. But what surprised Lisa most was the look in Zara's large eyes. They were filled with joy and excitement, like a child seeing something wonderful for the first time. "Welcome to the New Horizons," Jake said formally. "I am Captain Morrison, and this is Dr. Lisa Chun, who will be your research partner." When Zara looked at Lisa, something amazing happened. The glowing patches on her skin began to flash in rapid patterns. The lights were so bright and fast that everyone had to blink. Zara made a sound that was like laughing and singing at the same time. She moved closer to Lisa with obvious excitement. "You are Lisa," Zara said, and her voice was filled with happiness. "I have studied your research files. Your mind works in such interesting ways. I am very eager to work with you." Lisa felt a strange warmth when Zara spoke to her. "I am honored to work with you too, Zara. I have so many questions about your people and your world." The translator device they were using seemed to struggle with some of Zara's words. She spoke quickly and used phrases that did not translate well. But her excitement was clear to everyone watching. Ben whispered to Jake, "Look how she is reacting to Lisa. That does not seem like normal diplomatic behavior." Jake nodded. He had noticed it too. Zara was focusing all her attention on Lisa. The other humans in the room might as well have been invisible. Her glowing patches kept flashing in complex patterns whenever Lisa spoke. "Perhaps we should show you to your quarters," Jake suggested. "You must be tired from your journey." "Oh no," Zara said quickly. "I am not tired at all. I am too excited to rest. May I see the laboratory where Lisa and I will work together?" Lisa laughed at Zara's enthusiasm. "Of course. Would you like to see it now?" "Yes, please," Zara replied, and her whole body seemed to glow brighter. "I have so many ideas to share with you, Lisa. Your species thinks in ways that are completely new to us. It is fascinating." As they walked toward the science lab, Zara asked Lisa dozens of questions. She wanted to know about human families, human emotions, human art, and human dreams. She listened to every answer with complete attention. Her forearms gestured constantly as she spoke, and her glowing patches created beautiful patterns. Then walked beside Jake and spoke quietly. "Captain, I think there is something we do not understand about this partnership. Look how excited she gets around Lisa specifically. This seems like more than scientific interest." Jake watched Zara and Lisa walking ahead of them. The alien was practically dancing with joy as they talked. "You might be right, Ben. We need to keep a close eye on this situation. We are in completely unknown territory here." The adventure was just beginning, and nobody knew what surprises were waiting for them. 3 weeks had passed since Zara arrived on the New Horizons, and her excitement had only grown stronger. Every morning she would arrive at the science lab before Lisa got there. She would spend the time arranging equipment and preparing experiments with incredible care. When Lisa finally arrived, Zara's glowing patches would light up like fireworks, and she would practically bounce with happiness. Dr. Lisa Chun had never worked with anyone so enthusiastic. Zara wanted to study everything about human biology and behavior. She asked questions that most people would find too personal or strange. How did human emotions affect their thinking? Why did humans create art and music? What did humans dream about when they slept? Lisa found herself staying up late just to answer all of Zara's questions. "Lisa, I have been studying recordings of human laughter," Zara said one morning as they worked on analyzing some strange bacteria samples. "Your species makes this sound when you are happy, but also sometimes when you are nervous or sad. How can one sound mean so many different things?" Lisa smiled as she looked through the microscope. "Humans are complicated, Zara. We use the same actions to express different feelings. You have to understand the situation to know what someone really means." Zara's forearms moved in excited patterns. "This is why I find humans so fascinating. Your minds work in ways that seem impossible but somehow make perfect sense. My people are much more simple. When we are happy, our skin glows bright. When we are sad, it becomes dim. There is no confusion." Commander Ryan Scott had been watching the partnership through security cameras, and he was getting worried. He walked into Jake's office carrying a data pad filled with surveillance reports. "Captain, we need to talk about the alien," Ryan said as he sat down across from Jake's desk. "Her behavior is getting more unusual every day." Jake looked up from his own reports. "What do you mean, unusual?" Ryan activated his data pad and showed Jake video clips from the past week. "Look at this footage from yesterday." After Lisa left the lab, Zara stayed for 3 more hours. She was not working on experiments. She was watching recordings of Lisa talking and moving around the lab. She played the same clips over and over again. The video showed Zara standing perfectly still while holographic images of Lisa moved around the lab. Zara's glowing patches pulsed in slow rhythms as she watched. Her large eyes never moved away from the recordings. "And look at this," Ryan continued, showing another video. "This morning I saw Zara practicing human gestures in her quarters. She was copying the way Lisa moves her hands when she talks. She did it for over an hour." Jake frowned as he watched the strange footage. "Maybe she is just trying to understand human behavior better. That could be part of her research. Or maybe she is studying Lisa specifically for reasons we do not understand," Ryan replied. "Captain, what if this partnership program is not what we think it is? What if the Kaleri have hidden motives? Meanwhile, in the medical bay, Dr. Amy Rodriguez was examining Lisa's latest health scans. Amy was the ship's doctor and psychologist who specialized in alien contact situations. What she found in Lisa's test results surprised her. "Lisa, I need to ask you some questions about how you have been feeling lately," Amy said as Lisa sat on the examination table. "I feel great, Amy," Lisa replied. "Better than I have felt in years, actually. I have so much energy and my mind feels sharper than ever." Amy showed Lisa the brain scan results on her computer screen. "Your neural activity is off the charts, Lisa. The areas of your brain that handle pattern recognition and creative thinking are working at levels I have never seen before. It is like your brain is operating in overdrive." Lisa looked at the colorful brain images with interest. "Is that bad?" "I do not know," Amy said honestly. "These changes started about 2 weeks ago, which is right around the time you began working closely with Zara. Have you noticed anything different about your dreams? Or your thinking patterns?" Lisa thought for a moment. "Well, I have been having very vivid dreams lately. And sometimes when I look at our research data, I can see patterns that I never noticed before. It is like the numbers and formulas are speaking to me in a new way." Amy made notes on her datapad. "I want to monitor you closely, Lisa. Extended contact with alien minds could have effects that we do not understand yet." Back in the science lab, Zara was working alone when Ben Parker walked in to check on some equipment. He found her standing, very still, with all 4 arms stretched out toward a sample of human DNA that was displayed on the main computer screen. "Zara, what are you doing?" Ben asked cautiously. Zara turned to look at him, and her glowing patches were brighter than Ben had ever seen them. "I am trying to understand the beautiful complexity of human genetic patterns, Ben. Your species carries such interesting information in your cells. It is like reading poetry written in the language of life itself." Ben felt uncomfortable with the way Zara was looking at the human DNA samples. "Those are just research samples, Zara. They are not that special." "Oh, but they are special, Ben," Zara replied, and her voice had a dreamy quality. "Especially the samples from Lisa. Her genetic patterns are unlike anything my people have ever encountered. They seem to call out to us in ways that are difficult to explain." This comment made Ben very worried. He left the lab immediately to find Captain Morrison. "Captain, I just had a disturbing conversation with Zara," Ben said when he found Jake in the hallway. She was studying human DNA samples and talking about them in a way that seemed almost obsessive. She mentioned Lisa's genetic patterns specifically. Jake stopped walking and turned to face Ben. "What exactly did she say?" she said. "Lisa's patterns were calling out to her people." "Captain, what if this partnership program is not about scientific cooperation? What if the Kaleri are studying us for other reasons?" That evening, Lisa was in her quarters reading research reports when her door chimed. She opened it to find Zara standing in the hallway carrying what looked like a small plant made of living crystal. "Lisa, I brought you a gift from my homeworld," Zara said, and her glowing patches created beautiful spiraling patterns. "It is called a harmony flower. It responds to the emotions of whoever holds it." Lisa accepted the strange gift carefully. As soon as she touched it, the crystal plant began to glow with warm golden light. "It is beautiful, Zara. Thank you." "The way it glows for you is perfect, Lisa," Zara said, and she moved closer. "It shows that your mind has the kind of harmony that my people value above all else. You think in ways that create balance and beauty in everything you touch." Lisa felt that same strange warmth she always experienced around Zara. "Your people seem to value harmony very much." "We do," Zara replied, and her voice became very soft. "We have been searching for minds that can create true harmony with ours. Most species think in patterns that conflict with Kaleri thoughts. But humans think differently. You think in ways that could complement our minds instead of fighting against them." Lisa did not fully understand what Zara meant, but she could tell it was important. "I'm glad we can work together, Zara. I learn something new from you every day." Zara's glowing patches suddenly became extremely bright, and she made that musical laughing sound again. "Oh, Lisa, you have no idea how much more there is to learn. We have barely begun to explore what is possible when our kinds of minds work together. As Zara walked away, Lisa stood in her doorway holding the crystal flower and wondering what she was really getting herself into. The accident happened on a Tuesday morning while Lisa and Zara were working with some dangerous chemicals in the lab. They were trying to create a new compound that could help heal damaged tissue. Lisa was carefully measuring a bright green liquid when the glass container slipped from her hands and shattered on the floor. "Oh no," Lisa said as she quickly stepped back from the broken glass, but she was not fast enough. A sharp piece cut deep into her left hand and bright red blood began flowing down her arm. What happened next shocked everyone in the lab. Zara's entire body exploded with light so bright that Ben had to cover his eyes. She made a sound that was like screaming and singing at the same time. All four of her arms reached toward Lisa with desperate urgency. "Lisa, you are hurt," Zara cried, and her voice was filled with panic. "Please let me help you. Please let me touch the wound." "Zara, calm down, it is just a small cut," Lisa said, but she was surprised by how much blood was coming from her hand. "I need to get to the medical bay." "No. Wait," Zara pleaded, and she moved closer to Lisa with her arms outstretched. "I can heal this. My people have abilities that can help. But I must touch you. Please trust me." Ben stepped between them, looking concerned. "Lisa, do not let her touch you. We do not know what will happen." But Lisa could see the genuine worry in Zara's large eyes. The alien was practically glowing with distress, and her forearms were shaking. "It is okay, Ben. She wants to help." Lisa held out her injured hand, and Zara gently wrapped two of her arms around it. The moment their skin made contact, something incredible happened. Lisa felt a warm, tingling sensation flow up her arm and spread through her entire body. The pain from the cut disappeared completely. Even more amazing was what Lisa experienced. In her mind, for just a few seconds, she could feel Zara's thoughts mixing with her own. She saw mathematics as living patterns of light. She felt the quantum vibrations that held atoms together. She understood how all living things were connected by invisible threads of energy. "What was that?" Lisa whispered as Zara released her hand. The deep cut had completely healed, leaving only a thin white line on her skin. Zara's glowing patches were now pulsing in slow, deep rhythms. "That was a small taste of what my people call the joining, Lisa. When compatible minds touch, they can share consciousness temporarily." Ben was staring at Lisa's healed hand in amazement. "That is impossible. Cuts that deep take weeks to heal." "Not when two minds work together in harmony," Zara explained. "Lisa's thoughts guided my healing abilities to work more effectively than either of us could manage alone." Lisa looked at her hand and then at Zara. "You said compatible minds. What do you mean by that?" Zara's expression became very serious. "Lisa, I must tell you something important about why I came here. The Kaleri do not just form partnerships with other species. We form something much deeper and more meaningful." Chief Science Officer Dr. Kate Wilson had been monitoring the lab sensors during the incident. She rushed in carrying her datapad and looking excited. "What happened here?" "The lab's energy readings just went completely crazy." Zara healed Lisa's injury by touching her, Ben explained. "And Lisa says she experienced some kind of mental connection." Kate looked at the sensor readings on her device. According to these instruments, there was a massive surge in bioelectric activity. It was like two nervous systems suddenly synchronized with each other. Zara nodded sadly. "Dr. Wilson, what you measured was a brief joining between Lisa's mind and mine. It is something my people have been searching for across the galaxy for many centuries." "Searching for what exactly?" Kate asked as she continued studying her readings. "A species whose thought patterns can truly complement ours," Zara replied. "Most intelligent beings think in ways that conflict with Kaleri consciousness. When we try to join with them, the result is confusion and pain. But human minds work differently. Your thoughts can blend with ours to create something greater than either species could achieve alone." Lisa sat down in a nearby chair, feeling overwhelmed. "Are you saying that humans and Kaleri can merge their consciousness together?" "Not merge exactly," Zara explained as she moved closer to Lisa. Joining allows two minds to share thoughts and abilities while still remaining individual beings. But the experience creates a Gestalt consciousness that is far more capable than either mind working alone. Kate was frantically taking notes as she listened. This could explain the unusual brain activity we have been measuring in Lisa. Her neural patterns have been changing since she started working with you. Yes, Zara said, and her glowing patches began flashing with excitement again. Lisa's mind has been unconsciously preparing itself for a deeper joining. Her brain is adapting to become compatible with Kaleri consciousness. Ben looked alarmed. You are talking about fundamentally changing how Lisa thinks. That could be dangerous or even permanent. It would not change who Lisa is, Zara said firmly. Joining enhances both minds without destroying their individual personalities. Lisa would still be completely human, but with access to abilities and knowledge that no human has ever possessed. Lisa stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the stars. Zara, what exactly are you asking me to do? I am asking you to. Consider completing the joining process with me, Zara replied, and her voice was soft and hopeful. It would require a ceremony that permanently links our consciousness together. We would share thoughts, emotions, and abilities for the rest of our lives. The room became very quiet as everyone absorbed what Zara had just revealed. Kate broke the silence first. Captain Morrison needs to hear about this immediately, she said. This changes everything about the partnership program. 20 minutes later, Jake stood in his ready room with his senior staff trying to understand what they had just learned. Lisa sat across from him looking thoughtful while Zara waited patiently nearby. Let me make sure I understand this correctly, Jake said slowly. The Kaleri did not come here just to exchange scientific knowledge. You came here looking for humans who could permanently link their minds with yours. That is correct, Captain. Morrison, Zara replied. My people have been alone in the universe for so long. We have advanced technology and great wisdom, but we lack the creative spark that drives innovation and growth. Human minds possess that spark in abundance. And you believe Lisa is compatible with this joining process, Jake continued. Zara's entire body began to glow softly. Captain, Lisa is more than compatible. Her mind calls to mine in ways I cannot fully explain. When I first met her, I knew immediately that she possessed the mental harmony required for a perfect joining. Jake looked at Lisa, who had been quietly listening to everything. Lisa, this is an enormous decision. We have no idea what the long-term effects might be. I know, Captain, Lisa replied, but I keep thinking about what I felt when Zara touched my hand. For those few seconds I understood the universe in ways that seemed impossible. I could see patterns and connections that human minds normally cannot perceive. The joining would give you permanent access to those perceptions, Zara said eagerly. Together we could solve problems that neither species could handle alone. We could create technologies and discoveries that would benefit both our worlds. Jake realized that Lisa's decision could determine the future relationship between humans and Kaleri. If she agreed to the joining, it might open up incredible possibilities for both species. But if something went wrong, it could end in disaster. I need time to think about this, Lisa said finally. This is not a choice I can make quickly. Zara nodded understandingly. Of course, Lisa. But please know that my excitement about working with you has been building toward this moment since the day we met. I have never encountered a mind that calls to mind the way yours does. As the meeting ended, Jake wondered if they were about to witness the next step in human evolution or make a terrible mistake that would haunt them forever. Lisa spent 3 sleepless nights thinking about Zara's proposal. She walked the empty corridors of the ship at all hours, trying to make sense of what she was being asked to do. The joining process would change her forever, but it might also unlock abilities that could help both species reach their full potential. Dr. Amy Rodriguez found Lisa in the observation deck at 2 a.m, staring out at the stars. Could not sleep again? Amy asked as she sat down beside her friend. Every time I close my eyes, I remember what it felt like when Zara healed my hand, Lisa replied softly. For those few seconds, Amy, I could understand things that normally take years of study to learn. I could feel the mathematical equations that describe how gravity works. I could sense the quantum connections between distant particles. Amy looked concerned. Lisa, those experiences might not be real. Alien contact can create hallucinations or false memories. Your brain might be interpreting unfamiliar sensations in ways that seem profound but are actually meaningless. But what if they are real? Amy, Lisa countered. What if the joining could give humans access to knowledge and abilities we never dreamed possible? How can I pass up that opportunity? Because you might lose yourself in the process, Amy said firmly. We have no idea what permanent mental linking with an alien consciousness could do to your personality or your humanity. The next morning, Captain Jake called a meeting with his senior staff to discuss the situation. Everyone gathered in the main conference room, including Lisa and Zara. The tension in the air was thick as people took their seats. I have been thinking about this joining process all night, Jake began. Before we make any decisions, I need to understand exactly what we are dealing with. Zara, can you explain the ceremony in more detail? Zara's glowing patches pulsed slowly as she spoke. The joining requires both participants to enter a deep meditative state while connected through specialized bio-neural interfaces that my people brought with us. The process takes approximately 6 hours and results in permanent quantum entanglement between our consciousness patterns. Chief Science Officer Kate Wilson leaned forward with interest. Quantum entanglement between minds. That would mean your thoughts would be instantly connected regardless of physical distance. Exactly, Zara replied. Lisa and I would share all memories, emotions, and cognitive abilities. When she learned something new, I would automatically gain that knowledge as well. When I discover a solution to a problem, Lisa would understand it immediately. Commander Ryan Scott looked skeptical. That sounds like a complete loss of individual privacy. Lisa would never have a private thought again. That is not accurate, Commander Scott, Zara explained patiently. The joining creates shared consciousness, but both participants maintain their individual personalities and the ability to keep certain thoughts private when desired. Ben Parker, who had been quietly listening, finally spoke up. Zara, how do we know this joining process is safe? Has your species ever attempted it with non-Kalari beings before? Zara's expression became sad. We have tried joining with representatives of 17 different species over the past 1,000 years, Ben. In most cases, the alien minds were too rigid or too chaotic to achieve successful integration. The attempts failed within hours and caused no permanent harm. What about the cases where it did not fail? Jake asked. There have been 3 successful joinings with other species, Zara replied. In each case, the result was a Gestalt consciousness that accomplished remarkable things. One joining pair discovered how to travel faster than light. Another learned to manipulate matter at the subatomic level. Lisa felt her heart racing with excitement. Where are those joined beings now, Zara? They transcended physical existence, Captain Chun, Zara said softly. After centuries of shared consciousness, they evolved beyond the need for physical bodies and became beings of pure thought and energy. This revelation caused murmurs of concern around the conference table. Navigation Officer Chris Martinez spoke up. So the ultimate result of joining is that both participants stop being physical beings altogether? Only after many centuries, Zara clarified. The transcendence process takes a very long time and happens gradually. Lisa and I would remain physical beings with normal lifespans. But our descendants who inherit our joined consciousness patterns might eventually evolve beyond physical limitations. Jake realized they were discussing changes that could affect the future of humanity itself. Lisa, I think you need more information before making this decision. Zara, would you be willing to demonstrate a temporary joining so Lisa can better understand what she would be committing to? Zara's entire body lit up with excitement. Yes, Captain Morrison. I can create a limited connection that would last for approximately 1 hour. It would give Lisa a clear experience of what permanent joining feels like. Amy looked alarmed. Captain, that could be dangerous. We have no way to monitor what happens to Lisa's brain during an alien consciousness link. I want to do it, Lisa said decisively. I need to know what I am choosing between. 1 hour will not cause permanent changes, but it will help me make an informed decision. Jake nodded slowly. Very well. But we do this in the medical bay with full monitoring and Dr. Rodriguez standing by to intervene if necessary. 2 hours later, Lisa lay on a medical examination table surrounded by monitoring equipment. Zara sat beside her holding a small device that looked like a living crystal flower. Amy watched the brain scan displays nervously while Kate recorded. Everything with her instruments. Are you ready, Lisa? Zara asked softly. Lisa took a deep breath. I am ready. Zara placed the bio-neural interface against Lisa's forehead and activated it with a gentle touch. Immediately, Lisa's consciousness expanded. Beyond anything she had ever imagined, she could feel Zara's thoughts mixing with her own like two rivers flowing together. She understood complex mathematical concepts that had previously been beyond her comprehension. She could sense the electromagnetic fields generated by every piece of equipment in the room. Most amazingly, she could feel the quantum connections that linked every atom in the universe to every other atom, but it was not just knowledge that Lisa gained from the temporary joining. She could feel Zara's emotions as clearly as her own. The alien's deep loneliness and longing for true connection. Her genuine love and respect for humanity. Her desperate hope that the joining would create something beautiful that could benefit both species. This is incredible, Lisa whispered, and her voice sounded different somehow. I can understand everything, Zara. I can see patterns in reality that are normally invisible. Amy watched the brain scans with growing amazement. Lisa's neural activity is off the charts. She is using parts of her brain that normally remain dormant in humans. For 50 minutes, Lisa experienced consciousness unlike anything any human had ever known. She solved mathematical equations that had puzzled scientists for decades. She understood the fundamental forces that held the universe together. She felt connected to every living thing in existence. When the temporary joining ended, Lisa felt like she was falling from a great height. The expanded awareness disappeared, and she was left with only her normal human consciousness. The contrast was devastating. How do you feel? Amy asked as she checked Lisa's vital signs. Lisa sat up slowly and looked at Zara with tears in her eyes. I feel like I just lost a part of myself that I never knew existed. Amy, during that hour, I understood things that humans are not supposed to be able to understand. I could see the mathematical beauty that underlies all of reality. And now, Jake prompted. Now I feel limited and small, Lisa replied honestly. It is like someone showed me colors that do not exist and then took them away forever. Zara reached out with one of her forearms and gently touched Lisa's hand. That limitation would never return if we completed the permanent joining, Lisa. You would have access to that expanded awareness for the rest of your life. Lisa looked around the room at her friends and colleagues. She saw the concern in their faces, but also their trust in her judgment. The decision was hers to make, and it would change everything. I know what I want to do, Lisa said quietly. But I have one condition that might change everything. Everyone waited to hear what she would say next. Lisa stood up from the medical table and looked directly at Zara. I want to undergo the joining process with you, but not in the traditional way. I propose we modify the ceremony to create something that has never been attempted before. Zara's glowing patches flickered with confusion and hope. What kind of modification do you have in mind, Lisa? Instead of permanent fusion, I want us to create a gradual reversible connection, Lisa explained. We would start with temporary joinings that last a few hours and slowly increase the duration. Over time, this would allow us to maintain our individual identities while still sharing consciousness during important work. Captain Jake felt relief wash over him. This compromise could give them the benefits of the joining while reducing the unknown risks. That sounds much safer than permanent fusion. But would it be possible? Amy asked, looking at Zara. Can your bio-neural interfaces be programmed for gradual integration instead of complete bonding? Zara was quiet for several minutes as she considered the proposal. Her forearms moved in complex patterns as she thought. Finally, she spoke. No Kaleri has ever attempted such a modification. Our joining ceremonies have always been permanent because we believe that was the only way to achieve true consciousness synthesis. But you are willing to try? Lisa pressed. We could work together to develop new interface protocols that allow for controlled temporary connections. Yes, Zara said, and her whole body began to glow with excitement. Lisa, your idea is brilliant. A gradual approach would let us explore the possibilities of joined consciousness while maintaining the option to return to individual awareness when needed. Chief Science Officer Kate Wilson was already taking notes. We could monitor each stage of the process and adjust the parameters based on what we learn. This could revolutionize how different species interact with each other. Dr. Ben Parker still looked concerned. Even temporary joining carries risks. We would be experimenting with human consciousness in ways that have never been tested. Every breakthrough in human history has required people willing to take calculated risks, Ben, Lisa replied. The potential benefits far outweigh the dangers. Jake made his decision. Very well. If both of you consent to this modified joining process, then you have my permission to proceed. But we do this slowly and carefully with constant medical monitoring. The next 6 weeks were spent modifying Zara's bio-neural interface technology to allow for controlled temporary connections. Lisa and Kate worked with Zara to develop new protocols that would gradually increase joining duration from minutes to hours to eventually days at a time. The first official joining session took place on a Thursday morning in the specially prepared medical bay. Lisa and Zara sat facing each other while the modified bio-neural interface created a gentle connection between their minds. For 3 hours they shared consciousness, while working on a complex physics problem that had puzzled scientists for years. The results were immediate and spectacular. Together they developed equations that described a new form of faster-than-light travel that required no exotic matter or dangerous energy fields. This is working perfectly, Lisa said when the session ended. I could feel your mathematical intuition guiding my creative thinking, Zara. Together we solved something that would have taken human scientists decades to figure out. And I could feel your innovative approach opening new pathways in my logical reasoning, Zara replied happily. The combination of our thought patterns creates possibilities that neither species could achieve alone. Amy monitored Lisa's brain activity throughout the session and found something amazing. Lisa, your neural development is continuing even after the joining ends. Your brain is literally rewiring itself to become more compatible with Kalari consciousness. Word of the successful modified joining spread quickly through the ship. Crew members who had been skeptical of the program began to see the incredible potential. Navigation Officer Chris Martinez volunteered to work with other Kalari representatives who had arrived from the homeworld.